Are we live? We are live. Howdy folks, Andy Tran here with Bark Outdoors. Welcome to another live chat. Today we have John with the Wingman115 channel. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty good night. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to do very many live shows. So today it's going to be kind of an update. We're going to go over a few things, including the knife and some updates in my life and John's life. Introduce yourself.
Well, if folks are tuning in, I'm sure you are no stranger to my ugly mug and Mr. Tran. I'm John with the Wingman115.
Ooh, did we lose John? John, where'd you go? Yeah. There you are. I think I lost
you. Show, folks. It's a live show. This is what happens in a live show, unfortunately. But like I said, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, we're not a love line. We don't give out love advice for free anyway. So post up your questions. We'll be moderating there, and we'll try to get shout outs and all that stuff in there. Sir.
Awesome. So what have you been up to lately?
Well, it's funny you asked. If folks have been following along on the channel, recently I posted a video of a trip that I took with the wife. We had our, quote, 30th wedding anniversary. So yeah, I'm an old guy. And the wife had wanted to see Mount Rushmore. Been like on her bucket list forever and ever and ever. And I had always wanted to see Yellowstone. So I was like, hey, on our way to Mount Rushmore, let's take a quick detour and go up to Yellowstone. So that's what we did. We had a heck of a good time. We got to see a lot of beautiful country here in America that I think a lot of us take for granted. And it was just a heck of a fun trip. And I'm glad that I was able to share a little bit of on the YouTube channel.
Awesome. How many miles do you reckon you put in on that trip?
Oh my gosh, over 3,000 miles in about a little over a week. So what we would do, we would go to one area, spend the day, and then usually early evening, I stay up late anyway. I would just drive to the next destination, and we'd get up early, spend a whole day there, and then I would just drive to another destination. But it worked out. You know, the wife and I, we're hardcore, man. That's how we roll. So it was a good time.
Awesome. Yeah, because I was checking out the video. You guys did a lot of stuff, and it's hard to fit all that stuff into 1 week. So you guys must have been like passing off the wheel, you know, getting from one destination to another.
Yes. Now I'm going to give you some advice, okay, from a YouTuber's point of view. If you go to these national parks and your wife drives for you so you can video or take photos, be very tolerant of your wife's driving, because you'll see things and need to stop like right now, and then you won't actually stop until it's like a quarter mile down the road and you've already missed everything. So just have fun. If you get the shot, you get the shot. If you don't, oh well. But just have fun. That's, you know, no, seriously, she did a good job. We cruised around Yellowstone. I got to get some buffalo on video. Saw a grizzly bear on the side of the road in Wyoming, stopped there. We were really close, about 50 yards. There was another professional photographer that was on the side of the road. Then some guy just pulls over, gets out of the vehicle and just starts walking around. And I'm like, hey, dude, I would be like close to the truck, because Mama Grizz has a little baby Grizz and we're within 50 yards, man. If this thing decides it's going to bull rush, you're not going to make it back to the truck. And he's like, no, I'll be okay. So I muttered something like Darwinism underneath my breath and took a few more photos, and then I bugged out of there before I had to fill out a lot of paperwork as a witness to somebody getting mauled.
Yeah, but, I'm stoked that, you know, as a ranger and Rainier, I did not have to fill out any paperwork for any maulings or anything like that. Yeah, people create these really bad situations for themselves, and I wish I could divulge all the stuff that I had to deal with. It's pretty interesting.
Let me ask you a question. Did you see any mountain lions when you were on any backcountry endeavors?
No, I didn't see any mountain lions. There was some reports of people hearing them, but for the most part, I think the only mountain lion that had any issues with people, we kind of hazed it. So we tranquilized it and then gave it a hard release, and that kind of kept that particular animal away from people. But you know, at Rainier, I think the people that visit, you know, the REI type crowd, I think they really understand that habituating animals is a bad idea. So our animals are actually really well behaved in this area.
So you mean it's not like Yosemite where they're getting out and trying to pet a bear?
No, and they're not putting baby buffalo in the back of their minivan because, yeah, that stuff doesn't really happen here. So
that's crazy. Hey, I'm going to give a quick shout out to the folks in the comments section. Mako Sharks in the house. Thank you. Michael Fuller. Thanks, Mike, for coming in. Freddie St. Clair. LT Survival. Lewis is in there. Evan Scott. Tom Wells. Diesel is in there. He also said 2 legends. Thanks, brother. Sharp Bevel is in the house. I can't pronounce this other one. Intural 618. If I got it wrong, I apologize. So thanks for checking in, folks.
Yeah, we have a lot of people in today, so I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, 21 right now.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I can't imagine having like 300 all commenting at the same time. I can't read that fast.
Yeah, no kidding. It's hard to manage that. But people were wondering, and I posted today on Facebook that me and the crew, which is my daughter and my son-in-law, we're going to be going to SHOT Show again this year. So follow along the channel. We got a lot of cool stuff lined up. I'm talking with folks already, trying to make appointments for interviews. And I'm basically looking for the human story, like the knife designers and people that invent stuff and try to pick their brain, as opposed to, oh, this is the new gizmo and blah, 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 that you're not even going to watch next year. But we're trying to line that up. We got a lot of good stuff coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be here before we know it.
Did you call the guys at SHOT Show, or did they send you a confirmation or something like that? Okay,
here's what happened. The way that they did it this year is kind of I got to be politically correct, because the customer service helped me out. Awesome. We had a hard time registering for SHOT. Okay. And we had all been there before. So we had to reapply. We had to show our credentials that we had, published work. I get that. But then it said that we were, first when we chime in, it says we were an existing user. Then we did all the forms and dotted the I's, crossed the T's, all that stuff. And then we hit send, and then it said that we had to register as a user first. So after doing this and rock, paper, scissors, I emailed them. They were very good about it. They checked all our stuff over the email and got us approved with confirmation numbers. So I got an email the other night that all 3 of us are confirmed, and we're going to be going in January. So it's going to be a fun time.
Awesome. I checked on the registration, and they said that I'm confirmed and that I'm going to get my stuff in the mail, but they didn't like straight up say that I was approved. So it's kind of weird. So I might have to do a little bit of back and forth by email.
Yeah, I think that they were bought out by a different company last year.
Like a couple of years ago, you know, after a mass shooting, you know, the company that's been doing it for like 20-something years ducked out and didn't want to be a part of the industry anymore. And so another company picked it up, and then I think there's some growing pains there. So that might be part of it.
Yeah, but I have to admit, once again, a shout out to their customer service. I sent an email on a Saturday night, like at 9 o'clock, and they were Johnny on the spot within a half hour. And then that following Sunday, somebody was working, and they took care of it. So shout out to them. If you're a vendor, just be known that there's no spots for vendors this year, and you're lucky if you're going to get a spot for next year. They're already sold out. So that's pretty good when you think about the economy, right? Because if the economy the folks didn't have a lot of faith in it, they wouldn't be putting money up front, because it costs a lot of money to get a booth at SHOT Show.
Yeah,
even a small little mini booth downstairs, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, can you imagine like Game of Defense or Smith & Wesson? I mean, they got it's basically like they took the stage set from a Kiss concert and brought it in minus the pyrotechnics, and they got like a whole thing with, it's amazing. So they must, put half their yearly budget into that show alone.
Hey, that could be a video for us. Go to the Smith & Wesson booth and actually sing a Kiss cover.
I think we can make it happen.
Like, can you imagine singing like Beth in the Smith & Wesson booth?
I think Detroit Rock City might be a little bit more appropriate for the venue.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Smith & Wesson, a couple months ago, they had purchased Taylor Brands, which is Schrade knives and all the litany of brands that they have. And I heard through the grapevine, through Black Rifle Survival, shout out for Christopher, he said that they also bought UST. So
really?
Smith & Wesson's buying up some companies. So let's see if there's going to be some design changes, some different gear lineup. Hey, Brian is in the house tonight. Hey, Brian, thanks for chiming in, brother.
I love Brian. He makes good videos.
Yes. Hey, got a question from Zachary in here. It says, Interbark Outdoors, are you going to make any more videos? With a huge question mark.
Yes. So I'm working on a couple right now. One of them is going to be sort of like my backpack setup, because I think that's kind of important. Because I've been using the same backpack for a long time, and this summer I put like 300, maybe 400 miles on it, backpacking and everything. And so I'm going to go over my setup there, because it's MOLLE, so there's different pouches you can configure. I'm going to do another like kind of tutorial on shooting, particularly shooting at high angles. And then I got a couple of reviews, one of them being a rangefinder. And then the folks over at High Threat Concealment sent me a sweet system. So they sent me their belt and holster, Evo holster. And I mean, it's pretty spot on. It's convertible, so you can go inside the waistband, outside the waistband, appendix carry. Pretty dope. But yeah, so those are going to be things that are going to happen pretty soon. Unfortunately, with the job that I had, they didn't want me posting up things that were somewhat related to the job. And so because of that, I haven't been posting very much. And on top of that, I didn't have much time because I was living in the park and away from home and didn't have much time for other shenanigans. So things are going to be a little different here in the next few months.
Hey, Mike Fuller says, do that again and turn around. Oh, behave, Mike.
Is always pulling my leg.
Those Marines.
Yeah.
Hey, just a quick update, because a lot of folks might be interested in this, because the last time we had a show, we had Mr. Matt Graham on. And Matt had to leave the trail early. So I remember that he was talking about hooking up with Andy to do some bow fishing or some atlatl stuff. I talked with Matt a couple times through text and on the phone after our interview, and we're looking still to all get together, get the old band together. So as his schedule, because I know that he's on Nat Geo's Live Free and Die, so I'm not sure what their filming schedule is, but I think he had to leave to start production on that. So if I hear anything down the road, if we can get a trip together where we're all doing some bow fishing or whatever, it's going to be fun times, and we'll definitely get it on camera for y'all.
Yeah. I was hoping that I would run into him. I was going to go out to the Three Lakes cabin on the PCT or near the PCT and kind of hook up with them. But yeah, stars didn't align quite right, unfortunately, because I'd really like to meet him. Seems like a really cool guy.
I have another special guest that I've been kind of talking to covertly. I don't even think I told Andy this one. I've been talking to a gentleman by the name of Marty Raney. If folks follow along, he was on Ultimate Survival Alaska, and he also does Homestead Rescue. So I've been talking with him and back and forth now for about 2 months, trying to lock him down to get him on a live show so we could interview him, because he's just a really engaging and interesting individual. I like talking to real folks, just the common man sort of stuff. So he texted me the other day for me to give him a call, and I called him up, and it was on Veterans Day, and he's like, "Hey, I'm available for 2 hours right now. Can we do a show?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, Mr. Raney, you know, I'm driving to work. It doesn't quite work that way, but we're going to try to hook up after his production schedule's done with Homestead Rescue. So hopefully maybe sometime later on this winter, we'll be able to get Mr. Marty Raney on the show."
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
You have a knack for getting like celebrities on the show. You're like the networking guru.
Half the battle is, one, you don't start oogling over everybody, because they're just people like everybody else. And you just talk to them. You don't go crazy town. And, you know, tell them that you're a regular person as well. So hopefully, maybe with Shot, we're going to get definitely Joe Flowers back on the show. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah. One thing to note too, I am officially off the market. A couple months ago, me and my girlfriend of 7 years got engaged. So that was kind of cool. And I think I might post a picture of the ring that I got made up for her, because I found a custom ring maker here in like the Seattle area, and we were able to find someone that could like get all the prong settings and everything that I liked, and then also work with a raw uncut diamond. So it's pretty darn neat. And for the guys that are, or girls, whatever, I'm not sexist, but the people that watch my channel might be interested in something a little more organic than the you know, polished diamonds and boringness of traditional wedding rings. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm excited.
Congratulations, sir.
Mucho gracias.
Hey, we got a gentleman by the name of Patrick. He's a freshman in high school, and he says, "What's a good EDC that would be allowed in schools?" That's a tough one.
There's not very many. I'll tell you what, like I did get in one fight, and I used my belt to like wrap around, like Jackie Chan style, like bind someone's hands together and then bring them down. Like you might be able to get just a nice belt, you know, that's easy to take off. And, but that's a really touchy subject, because you can't use any chemical sprays, any blunt force instruments can't be used. Pocket knives, definitely no-go, and no firearms.
Yeah, I was going to say even like a Victorinox cadet would probably be on the no-go list. It's tough, Patrick. You live in a time where political correctness is overrunning everything. You know, when I was in high school 100 years ago, I mean, we used to be able to carry buck knives on our belt and stuff like that. We used to go deer hunting and leave the shotgun and the rifle in the truck in a gun rack, and nobody ever thought, you never just thought about doing anything stupid with it. You just never did, because you were always worried that mom and dad were going to just whoop your butt when you got home if you did anything just crazy. So
yeah, it's a different world that we live in now. I would say, like, if you're, you know, I would bring survival stuff, you know, like extra water, some snacks in case there's a lockdown, like a pair of rubber gloves in case there's broken glass around, things that are more survival oriented. But in terms of like EDC for self-defense, I would just learn martial arts. If there's something that is really a concern, you have to just go to the faculty for that. If you have a school resource officer, talk to him, you know, incognito, and try and get stuff sorted out that way, because you know, you don't want to get expelled from high school. That looks really bad on her record.
Plus, you don't want to say, well, Andy and John said it was okay. And now we got people knocking on our door.
Yeah, I don't need that on my conscience right there. I was like,
yeah. We got a gentleman says, for those turning in, what's the topic? Basically, it's freestyle tonight. So we're taking questions from you folks out there in the live audience. So type them in, and then I'm moderating that. So we'll go from there, and then we're just having a good time doing like channel updates and where we're going and get a little cray.
Yeah. But speaking of EDC, I guess that would be a good like segue to go into the new knife design that I, you know, kind of announced at the last SHOT Show. So unfortunately, it's been a really long time coming. Tops has had a lot on their plate, and it's been hard for them to get, you know, things out in order for this to be a real thing. But if you're interested, I got a few renditions of the prototype, but I don't have the actual production model yet. That's probably going to come out in the next month or so.
Yeah, post them up, man.
All right. Well, so
hey, just so you guys know, I didn't see all these knives either. So
no, this is going to be new. So this was the very first one that they made for me off of my drawing. What you can't see, and it's pretty similar to what we have right now, but what you guys can't see is that this is 3/16 of an inch thick. And at the time, I thought that was going to be a really good thickness because of the compound bevel that we have here. I was like, oh, it's going to be light enough. Turns out this thing is heavy as heck, and I don't think anyone in the right mind would carry this. So the next one that we got was this one right here. So they're pretty darn similar. This is 1/8 of an inch instead of 3/16. So you can see they're pretty similar. And what's a big difference too, though, is the finger ring right there. So the bevels are kind of like in a box on this one, and on this one they're more of a hexagonal shape. And this still the same compound bevel right there. And this one is I think it's a green canvas handle. I don't know why we went with that for this particular one, but I kind of like it. But the next one that we got, and this is one that we got after SHOT Show after talking to some guys, and they wanted some finger guards on it just to keep your hand from sliding into the blade. And I think it was one of the guys that just kind of did a quick little prototype up, but the finger guards are not what it's going to be like. So boom, that's it. So these are actually going to be about half the height or width or whatever, however you're looking at it. So it's going to be about half of that. Yeah, and it's going to be rounded instead of squared like that.
Cool.
So, but it's pretty similar to what we want. We added an internal like bevel right there, so it's more rounded and radiused. So it's a lot smoother on your hand when you're sliding it around and flipping it around. So it's a lot more comfortable. It does take off probably a few grams. But yeah, we're going to go black on black for our first run. Black with red liners, and the scales are G10. So this thing's pretty darn durable. I'm really digging it. But for the sheath, we're going with the Kydex. And the sheath that we did, or I requested us to do, is a little bit different from what they've been doing in the past. A lot of their Kydex sheaths are the taco design. So it's basically one piece that's folded over itself, and then you put the knife in there and it gets molded. But I wanted something that was more the pancake style so that you have more mounting options. So we have a flat Kydex. So if you wanted to wear it, you know, on a duty belt, like behind the mag carrier or something like that, you could do that. I'm going to carry it sewn onto my vest underneath my shirt. So all I got to do is like rip it open, and then I can grab it as a last ditch, defense tool. But yeah, that's it so far. So the only change that we're doing for the production model is we're going to have this curved a little more. And another thing to note is that it's going to be made at 1095. We are going to probably look at some other steel options later on. And instead of a black traction coat, we have black Cerakote for the first ones. But yeah, that's it. Pretty cool. Hopefully you can see that.
Question.
Answer.
Why did you not want to go with stainless?
So the stainless ones that I wanted, they were going to be too expensive to produce.
Okay.
So that was the main reason, because I wanted to go with 154 or S30V or S35. But
154 would have been cool.
Yeah. So we're talking about that for later on, and for someone that's going to be working in a marine environment, or like in the Pacific Northwest where it's always raining, we're going to be looking at that for later on. But for now, this is going to be fine, especially with the Cerakote on there. I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, it's also a lot cheaper to produce. Because we were, like right now, the MSRP for this is going to be about 180, 200, they're estimating. And then if we did a stainless steel, that would have been bumped up to around 250, 280.
Wow.
And for the market that I actually designed this for, which is law enforcement military, we don't get paid like senators, so it doesn't make sense to have like an elitist knife price for something that I want to be used every day.
Hey,
so
folks,
that's the reason behind it.
Folks are asking what the name of the knife is.
So we went for ice dagger, so it stands for in case of emergency. And I wanted this to be sort of my tactical knife versus a shortened down Tahoma, because a shortened down Tahoma wouldn't be as good of a fighting knife as one of these would be. So yeah, in case of emergency, so put on a load-bearing vest, duty belt, underneath your uniform shirt or something like that, nice and covert. And the ring makes it really easy and fast to deploy. Got a nice strong tip, really slicey edge for the main cutting edge. It's going to be pretty awesome. And we're hoping to get it out within a month and a half or so is really what we're aiming at. Right now, the only update that I have is that we have knives cut out, handles cut out, and then things are going into the Cerakote right now. So yeah, we're just waiting. So I think the next steps are the lasers, get the handles fitted, and then get the final fit and finish on the sheaths, and then we should be good to go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, you got
if you guys haven't seen the video, go check out the Tops Factory Tour video, because you get to see pretty much the birth to the maturity of a knife. It's pretty awesome.
Well, plus you see the value in it too, where you see how much work goes into the blade by each step, which a lot of people, I don't believe, realize that. Hey, we got a question from Brew Daddy. Thanks for checking in, Brew Daddy. He goes, care to discuss if any long-term food storage y'all might be into, similar to Mountain House, etc., with a 25-year shelf life stuff? Any favorites?
I used a lot of Mountain House, like when it would be in like the free bin at work, to go camping and things like that. And they're awesome, but I don't know if they're the best long term for your digestive system, because if you eat them a lot, you'll get the shits. Either the hard shits or the soft shits, and I don't want either.
I was on a backpacking trip. We were out for a week, and all we had was Mountain House. And like the third day, we called it the Mountain House stench. It does weird things to your internals. It just does. But probably to answer his question, I do have a dehydrator. One of my best videos is a beef jerky video that I do make regularly. A lot of my friends wish I made it like every week, but when I go backpacking now, if I have time, I'll cook up like hamburger, drain it really well, and I'll dehydrate hamburger, and then run it with a rolling pin a little bit to get all the sharp edges off. because that way when you vacuum seal it, it doesn't puncture the bag. So you do that. I've even dehydrated spaghetti sauces and stuff like that and made powders with them. So that way they're quick, easy meals when we go out. And that stuff, I mean, as long as air doesn't get in there, it's going to last a very long time.
Yeah, air and sunlight are like two no good things for long-term food storage.
Yeah, it's not your friend. But Mountain House, yeah. If it was like grids down, we're shed in for a couple days, we can't get to the store because a snowstorm or power outage or earthquake, then, you know, Mountain House is your best friend at that point. But
yeah, because you also save a lot of fuel cooking that as well. You don't have to actually like cook. You just boil water, let it sit for 15, 20 minutes, and then you're eating. So, yeah. I mean, I have a dehydrator too. I don't use it as much. I mainly use it for fruit, to dehydrate fruit and things like that. But yeah.
Brian says Valley Food Storage is all natural and tasty. He says, in his humble opinion. Well, Brian, I value your opinion because you test that stuff out. So I'll have to check them out. Somebody asked if we tried freeze drying. Steven has. I haven't tried that. I'm not set up for it, but I do have the dehydrator with a ton of trays, and I love doing that.
Yeah, I saw an ad heard an ad on the radio for a home freeze drying machine, and I actually haven't looked it up yet, only because I'm terrified that it's going to cost $400, and I can't drop that kind of coin right now.
What I need to do is buy a Berkey water filter, though. Everybody should have some way to filter water case. Well, just for every day, because normal tap water is just all the additives that they put in it. But just in case something happens, you know, at least you have good potable water to use. And that way you can save on fuel too, because you're not boiling water. So you don't have to use wood or propane or natural gas or whatever you're going to use. So just something to think about on that. I stole Brew Daddy's thunder. He goes, "Dang it, Wingman, that was my next topic I was going to ask."
I actually switched my filter because I used to use the MSR sweet water pump, and that thing was awesome for a little bit until I started, logging like 10, 15-mile days while carrying my gun and stuff like that. And it was the Sawyer that I used to replace it, and the Sawyer Mini is pretty awesome. Aside from the fact that you have to squeeze, or have two reservoirs. Yeah, I mean it's like 1/5 the weight. It was pretty sweet.
The good thing about the Sawyers is that you can do a lot of water with them. So if you get a pre-filter to get all the floaty nasties out of there, if you can pre-filter stuff, maybe through a coffee filter before you actual filter it, it would go a long ways. Now, I did a backpacking trip in the Sierras. We went up to a place called Big Pine Lakes, and it had a lot of water, but it was all this glacier runoff, and it had glacier silt in there, what they call a glacier flour, and it just kept plugging up my filters. I had a MSR, just a little compact one, and after like 2 days, it was toast. And that's
we had the same
back flushing and everything.
Like same issue here at around the mountain because we have all glaciers, but we only were able to get water out of like the small streams that went into the big rivers, because every single glacier runoff had silt in it. And we even have one that's called the Carbon River, and they call it that because it almost runs black. It looks like chocolate milk, and so that was like a destroyer of filters. It was pretty terrible.
The only filter that I've seen able to work in that is the Katadyn, like the Hiker Pro, has worked pretty good.
Is that the one with the paper filter?
Yeah. And my buddy had that, and it just worked. I mean, it worked great. So, I'm going to give LT Survival Lewis a shout out. He took a photo on Instagram, if it'll show. There he is. And he Instagrammed us on a live show.
Thanks.
That's pretty cool. So check out his channel, LT Survival. He's up in Canada. Really cool channel, some awesome content, stuff to make you think, which I just love. So quick shout out to Lewis.
I wonder if you've run into many Americans that have immigrated to Canada over the past couple of weeks.
That's going to open up a can of worms.
Yeah, let's not touch that.
Hey, Freddie Sinclair says, John and Andy, what do y'all think about MREs?
I like them a lot. I just wouldn't. One, I can't afford to eat them a lot, and then two, I wouldn't eat them long term, just from the horror stories that I've heard.
Yeah, I like them, but they're expensive and they're bulky. So for backpacking, definitely out of the question, because every ounce turns into a pound, and then all of a sudden your backpack weighs 60 pounds and you can't hike more than 4 miles. So yeah, you want to go lean on stuff like that. If you're going to car camp, you're going to bush camp, you got a quad or whatever, even a mountain bike with a bob trailer hooked to the back. I mean, that's a viable option now, because you're not technically carrying the item on your back, but MREs, they're heavy. You got to understand, when military hands those out, you have a support team that supports your forward operating units. So they're always airdropping stuff in, and you hope anyway, but not everything works perfect. But in a perfect scenario, they're always bringing supplies into you. So, that's just a lot to carry. So yeah, if you're going to ride quads, get the little Polaris, you're going into backcountry. Yeah, why not?
I wouldn't do that to a horse, though, because that's just mean. Those things get pretty.
Hey, Jonathan Zook's in the house. Hey, Jonathan.
The Zuki monster.
Michael says for backpacking, open them up and dump out all the non-essential crap. I would agree. You don't need the warmer. You don't need all the other little stuff in there.
Those little Tabasco bottles are the best, though, when you feel like a giant.
I haven't seen one in a long time in there.
The last one I had, because it was like a enchilada or something like that, that had a little Tabasco thing in it.
Did it?
And it was like a little glass bottle, and I'm like, what? That's the most stupid thing. Why don't you get like the Mylar, like little bag that's sealed on the top and bottom? That makes a lot more sense. But that's none of my business. I don't get paid the big bucks like these guys do.
Yeah, no joke. But yeah, for long-term food storage, I like dehydrating stuff. It's small, it's compact. A lot of that stuff, like MREs, at least in the Sierras, I don't know about up where you're at, but you got to put everything in a bear can. And then now you're carrying a bear can, and you can only fit so much stuff in there.
Yeah.
So when you start doing MREs and things like that, deodorants, toothpaste, anything with a smell, or else you're going to be drugged out of your tent in the middle of the night.
Yeah, we had some close calls with that this season. Yeah, because in Rainier we have bear poles. So it's like a rebar tree, and then you just take a stick and kind of put your bag up there. But the backcountry guys, they needed to bring either a bear canister, but a new thing that I just saw this year was like a bear bag. And it's a pretty thick material. It looks like bulletproof material, and it's just a drawstring top, and you tie it. And apparently there's a guarantee that if there's like a bigger than a half-inch cut in it, then they'll replace it for free. But it's a good alternative for like the lightweight backpacker that has to have a bear-proof container.
The only thing that sucks with that, Andy, is that if you got a 800-pound bear pushing down on your food, now everything is a tortilla.
But if you start out with tortillas, then your tortillas just become tortillas.
True.
There you go.
Touche.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, because I looked at someone's because I was inspecting their food storage, and I saw it, and I was like, what is this? And they showed me, and I was like, wow, that's some really cool stuff. I don't know how well it will handle rodents, chewing at it consistently, but I mean, it seemed like a pretty good piece of equipment. And the nice thing is it like gets smaller the more you use it, unlike a bare canister which stays the same volume.
It's true. Jack Walsh asked a canvas bag for a pre-filter for water with a question mark.
I don't even think you need a canvas bag. You know, like
just coffee filter.
Yeah, coffee filter or a bandana would probably do the trick.
Yeah.
As long as there's not too much of your nasty sweat in it.
And remember, if you're backpacking, you don't think about it, but every little thing adds up. And then I used to make a list. And then when I get home, if I didn't use the stuff that was on the list, it got cut for the next trip. You know, you didn't need 3 shirts, 2 pairs of pants. You know, yeah, you need an extra pair of socks or a pair of wool socks. Yeah, you know, but a lot of that stuff you don't need.
Oh yeah, because I you know, working as a backcountry LE ranger, you know, like I had this pistol, you know, a mag and a can of pepper spray on a thigh holster. So this leg seemed to get quite a bit more bulked up than the other one at the end of the season, just because walking up on and down all those hills, you're just lifting this weight every single time. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure I could play a mean game of kickball at this point.
Dodgeball. Hey, got a question here from Jack Walsh. It says, how did you come up with the name Zip for your dog?
I didn't come up with the name Zip. So Zip's actually a rescue dog, and he was already about a year old when we got him, just a little bit under. And you know, I remember the ad. They said that he's really well potty trained and he responds really well to his name, which was Zip. And there was no chance for me, you know, really changing that. And I didn't dislike the name, so I just kept with it. And then, yeah, it's just been like that ever since. I presume that it was from Last of the Dogmen, which I have not actually seen yet. But, you know, what do you think, Zip? He's asleep. He ran a lot today.
He was tuckered out from licking your head from when you did your update video this morning.
And this is Brindy. I don't know if many people know her yet, but we adopted her when I was at the police academy. And she's a Dutch Shepherd, and they get along swimmingly. Oh.
Hey, we got a question from Sharp Bevel. It says, for both of us, currently, what is your favorite pocket knife?
Well, my favorite pocket knife was the Tops Millspy 3.5. But when I was, you know, helping Border Patrol chase down some people, it got lost in the desert somewhere. So now I'm using a zero tolerance pocket knife, which I like a lot.
Hey, don't leave. If we're going to be roomies again at SHOT, don't leave that laying around.
Yeah, I'm going to have to keister it to keep away from you.
Yeah, you might lose that. You might lose that one. Mine is actually the knife he lost, and it wasn't because I was in Texas and jacked his knife off him. I was at SHOT Show, saw a Millspy, I liked it, so then after SHOT I went out and bought one. I've been carrying that all year. Before then, I carried for many years a Spyderco Endura 4, which I still love, and these come with a couple different grinds. My nephew has the full flat grind, and this is their saber grind. And they're just great blades. Really like them. But I really like my Millspy. I have a video on the Millspy if folks are interested. I posted a couple weeks ago. So you get to see it up close and personal. Somebody said, Jonathan said, puppies.
I love puppies. If you've liked my Facebook page, every so often you'll see a picture of them cuddling, because after they get pooped after a day of exercise, they're pretty adorable. Oh, inseparable.
I'm telling you, that zero tolerance might disappear if you leave it laying around.
Well,
just saying.
I mean, in terms of like, you know, it's beefy It's got G10 on it. It's S35 VN, which is a sweet steel. But mainly the thing for me with this pocket knife is that the pocket clip actually lasts a long time. Because I had some really expensive pocket knives, and there's something about their clips that, you know, even if I get snagged on a little thing, they get totally bent out of shape and they don't go back again. But this thing has been, I don't know what they use on it. It might be titanium or something, but I mean, it's just so good.
Spring steel, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, I figured that's what the other ones were made out of, but it seems to me like it was made out of like zinc or something like that, something super malleable. But this stuff is awesome. The same with the Tops one too. The Tops stuff is pretty darn good too.
Oh yeah, it's tearing my pants up because it retains so well. Evan says he carries a large Griptilian. That's a nice blade. My nephew's wife carries one of those. It's a really cool blade. Doug Impossible says, what is a good budget knife that will hold up in the Pacific Northwest? Are we talking a fixed blade or a folder? Doug, chime in the comments. That would help.
I mean, for the most part, you know, a folder doesn't really matter because it's going to stay dry in your pocket if you're wearing the right clothes. So, I mean, yeah, I think any knife would do well in the Pacific Northwest. Just a high quality one.
Yeah, and just do good knife maintenance. You know, Tops Knife posted a photo on their Facebook page of somebody who lost I think it was a Scandi Woodsman in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was recovered in the spring, which was remarkable. And the cutting edge had some corrosion on it, but they went in and did a little bit of cleaning, and it looked brand new. So if you take care of your knives, put a little bit of oil on them. Andy, what do you use? A tough cloth for yours?
Yeah, I use a tough cloth for mine. If I don't have that available, like if I got my gun, I have a little lube bottle in the handle, and I have what's that shit called? Fire Clean, and that's what I use if I don't have a tough cloth. So, you know, just don't ride it hard and put it away wet.
Yep.
Take care of it and
love your blades, man. Love your blades.
Yeah.
Show them some love.
All these crazy people like putting away like a wet, K-bar. I'm like, yeah.
Freaking naughty. Mike Fuller says for a budget, he likes a Spyderco Tenacious. Says he's carried one for years. Spyderco I like Spyderco. Just that when I saw the Mill Spy, I like that recurve design. I know I'm a weirdo. I'm wired that way. I just like that sort of design, and it called to me. Let's see. Freddie also says, John and Andy, would you recommend Leatherman or Gerber for multi-tools?
I've been using the Leatherman. I forget which one it is, but it has titanium handles, and that's what I've been using a lot so far.
I have a Super Tool 300, and I have a rebar that I carry in an EDC kit in the Jeep. Great tools. I really haven't. Gerber is like, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like wet toilet paper before you wipe. I mean, I haven't really been able to get excited about any Gerber one. They won't tell you what the steel is in anything. It's like it's trade secrets. Like the NSA is hiding stuff, Yeah. So I saw an ad of a new Gerber that kind of where I got a little warm and fuzzy seeing it, but I don't know. We'll see it shot if we see them and get to touch them and handle them. But every Leatherman that I've used, I've never had a problem. I've never broken anything, and I'm kind of like a gorilla when I'm tightening stuff down. So, my two cents. No offense to the Gerber fanboys out there, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, they got some like pretty decent designed, at least, weapon maintenance tools. But anything that those do, a Leatherman plus a spent shell would do just the same.
Yeah.
So you know, for me, I'm not terribly enthusiastic, especially about their like their military tools. The pricing on them is a little ridiculous. I mean, I know most of the guys are getting GSA pricing on it, but you know, still, it's pretty darn steep.
Survive Without is checking in tonight. Thanks for stopping by, brother. He says, nice hidden woodsman shirt. Hey, I got to give Malcolm some love. Got to support the Made in America homegrown small businesses.
Yeah.
Mike Fuller says he wants a mill spy too, but he's got to figure out how to hide it from his wife.
Well,
have the deliveries come to your work, Mike. Amazon will deliver to your business address. Hope the wife isn't watching right now.
He's probably wrestling one of his 10 children.
So I shot a video yesterday of a mung blade, just a little funny, weird, off-topic story. And I'm smashing coconuts and chopping and doing all this stuff on my wife's really nice patio table in the backyard. And I didn't realize that the wife actually watches the channel and saw me, you know, beating on her table like that. So it was a fun night after I posted that video. So, honey, if you're watching, I don't get deliveries at work. It doesn't happen. Mike says she says after the last gun purchase, she'll be watching. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, he's got some really like kind of fancy guns. You know, for me, it's like AR, like the M4, AR-10, bolt action, shotgun, pistol.
Nice.
Like nothing too like exotic, but he's got some exotics.
Jack Walsh is checking out. Hey, Jack, thanks for stopping in. You have a good night, brother.
Have a good one. Thanks for checking in.
Man, the year is crept up on us. It's hard to believe that next week is Thanksgiving. And then like 30-something days, it'll be Christmas time. That's hard to believe.
Yeah, there's already people starting to decorate for Christmas. So I'm going
to put out a little inside. So all you folks that are watching right now, you're going to hear, you're going to, here, I'm going to get up close. You're going to know about this before everybody else. Look for a giveaway on my channel coming up. Day after Thanksgiving, I'm going to post a video. Look for it. It's going to be huge. So check it out.
It's going to be huge.
Huge.
Yeah, I should probably do a giveaway here pretty soon.
So for folks that are loyal followers of the channels, you guys are going to know about it. Shh, don't tell your friends till after the video posts. Then please tell everybody. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a giveaway of a knife that I have the video review coming out here in the next couple days. So as promised, we're going to do that for folks to kind of give back to the community, and you have a little something under the Christmas tree. So.
Don't you just love it when the post office guy comes around?
I do. I hate when I have to go there because I shot the video for it today, right? And I got to give love to, I have a lot of loyal international followers. And I'm sure you do too. We got folks over in Australia, over in England, over in Germany, all over the planet. When I look at the analytics and I see like people in Siberia watching, I'm like, wow, it's kind of humbling. So I said, I'm going to open this giveaway up to anybody on planet Earth that if your knife laws don't, restrict this knife, and then I go like, oh man, this may cost like a ton of money to send, but you know what? I love you guys out there, and we wouldn't be doing this unless you folks were following us. So, I just want to give back. Yes, Lewis, it will be open to Canada. that's actually easy to send to. So,
yeah, it's like another box you check instead of like going to the U.S., Canada, under $50,000, easy. It's pretty simple.
well, I sent a channel patch to someone in Canada, and I had to fill out like 2 pages of custom forms. I'm like, really? I had to fill out 2 pages of custom forms to send a patch to somebody.
That's ridiculous.
It is crazy.
I would have just sent, like, put it in a padded envelope and just sent it like you would send a letter.
I did.
You did? And you still had to do that?
And I still had to fill out custom forms for it.
That's ridiculous.
It is. It was nuts.
This is why we don't have good international relations.
Yes. No, we love our north and south of the border brothers and sisters here. Hey, I'm half Canadian, so I gotta give a shout out to my north of the border brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I'm from the Far East, so it's kind of hard to get there.
So, what sort of videos you got lined up? I'm sure folks want to, if you can divulge anything like on the QT to our loyal followers.
I just got a couple gun stuff, some optics things, you know, rangefinders and some shooting. Yeah, just some simple stuff. But these things take time, you know, getting the slider out and getting all the focus right takes some time. And especially now that I have to keep my cameras covered in the rain because it's been raining pretty much nonstop. So that's always fun.
Now, do you have like camera bags, rain bags that you put over your cameras, or how does that work? Ziploc bags, what?
So I used to, for my big camera, my shoulder mounted camera, I had like a nice cover for it, cost a freaking fortune, but that was really nice. But for the GH4, I have a really nice Ziploc bag that I've cut a corner off of. Works great.
Yeah, I've used a couple. I think I have a lock sack that I keep in my camera bag that I kind of cut so the lens could stick out a little bit on that,
Yeah.
especially with the DSLR, because I don't have that waterproof body DSLR like Mr. Tran has. But
it's mainly for protection for the lens. The lens is the weakest link.
yeah, I'm on the fence right now because I'm looking to either buy a Canon 80D or the new Vixia G40, and that's supposed to be what they call their Consumer Pro model. I'm kind of leaning more towards the Canon 80D just because I have a bunch of lenses, and I just love the depth of field and what you can do with it. But hopefully pretty soon a new camera is in the works. Because it's tough with the T3i, I don't have autofocus. So being a one-man YouTube production crew, sometimes it's pretty tough.
Yeah, and you also got to take into consideration what you have now and compatibility.
Yeah.
Because if it was like the GH4, you can autofocus in 4K live, and it tracks you pretty well. But, you know, you'd have to go to a completely different lens system, unfortunately, which can get expensive.
Hey, Carlos is saying, which camcorder do you guys recommend for a beginner? Well, let me grab one. My recommendation, and I shot probably 100 videos with this, is a Vixia HF R42. And the reason that I like it is because it has a mic input. Because the mics on these camcorders, we have to be honest, they suck. So you're going to want some sort of external mic on there. And Canon's like one of the few that actually have an external mic port on the consumer models. If Brian's still in here, Brian, post up what you use, because yours shoots pretty good video. Because Andy's shooting with the Panasonic G4, right?
GH4, yeah. It's a mirrorless DSLR, in Micro Four Thirds format. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. It doesn't do low light as well as a full frame, but at the same time I don't need it to. So it seems to work pretty well. And I use that one in the Amazon jungle. All that footage is filmed it. All the 4K stuff that you see in my channel is on that. And I'm not using modern lenses. They're all vintage lenses with an adapter. So
which he's very good at framing his shots and stuff's in focus. I've seen the man in work. This guy is like a conductor of a major orchestra when he does that stuff.
It's not. I'm not nearly as anal as with it now as I used to be in film school. Because in film school we had to get the measuring tape and we'd measure from like the back focus all the way to the subject. And yeah, that was a painstaking process for sure.
Mike Fuller says, "Put my daughter and son-in-law to work." Yes, believe me, I'm getting my money's worth out of SHOT Show. It's going to be like slave labor the whole week. They don't know it yet. I'm just going to, huh?
I feel kind of sorry for Ashley just because, it's, I don't know if there's much for her to really, because it's not like it's very guy oriented for the most part. There's only very few.
I'm going to tell you, if you go to SHOT Show with attractive women, you get the interviews, dude. You get the booth reviews. You do. I'm not saying that I'm using my daughter to gain access to booths, but I'll tell you a funny story. We were going by the Garrett metal detector booth last year, and the guys from Gold Rush were there, and there was a line like a freaking mile long. So Ashley and I used the media badges and we're cut the line and went in behind and got to talk to Dave Turin. Very nice guy. It's been the second year that I met him, and we spent a little time with Dave Turin, but no, we had a good time. Plus, it's good to hear a female's perspective of some stuff at SHOT. So,
digging it. Plus, she gets pretty well versed, being married to her husband. He's very
she shoots. She knows her way around a gun.
Yeah, she shot my AR-10 pretty well.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Oh, yes. No, she's doing very good. Red Woodcraft's asking, what video editing software do we use?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I just use iMovie. I need to make my ass up the list on in correction and color correction. He's gonna slap me or something right now. I don't know what he's gonna do.
I think you're frozen. Are we doing the mannequin challenge?
No.
Oh, okay. Then I should.
Did I freeze?
Yeah, we lost you for a second.
Ouch.
Pretty much from the beginning.
Oh. How about now?
You're good now.
Okay. I use iMovie 10 just because I'm old and I don't want to take the time to learn a new one. But I need to for color correction and audio to up the game, pretty much in a nutshell.
I used to use Final Cut Studio, which is the professional, I guess, program that Apple provided. And then way back a few years ago when they switched to a different editing format, they made it a lot more like iMovie. And I got off of that. And then I went to the Premiere Suite by Adobe. And the Premiere Pro program is a lot more similar. The only thing is you don't get as many presets for visual effects, but it's not a huge deal. But yeah, I got it before Adobe decided to do a subscription-based program base or whatever, which I think was a really bad mistake. So I don't have to pay every month, but I can't upgrade without having to pay every month. So sad times.
Yeah, it's a catch-22.
Yeah,
Well, I'm sure they were doing it to try to counteract, pirates ripping them off.
Oh, absolutely. And then, being up to date with everything is super nice. But at the same time, I don't want to have to pay for something if I'm not going to be editing big projects for a few months, because then you have to pay for it every single time you use it. It's
Right.
kind of,
No, you're exactly right. Jonathan Zook says, if you're scary Viking like him, they'll talk to you because they're afraid you'll eat their babies.
yeah,
True.
the fear of pillaging, and rape, that's a big reason to.
We have a photo. I have a photo on my phone, I believe, of that we took with Jonathan at SHOT Show, and we look like little dwarfs from the freaking Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Where, you're gonna have to toss me, sort of thing. He's a pretty big boy.
Don't tell the elf.
Yeah, don't tell the elf. People were saying I turned into an Autobot there for a second.
You did. You kind of had this like auto-tune thing going on.
Ouch. No Miley Cyrus up in here, folks. No Miley Cyrus. We had a question. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. It was about GPSs. I'm trying to find the question. Okay, I can't find it, but I remember, paraphrase it. What GPS systems do we recommend?
So for work, we have these like Garmin Rhinos. So they're like it's like a GPS and walkie-talkie in one, and those work pretty well, but they're bulky. And then I got rid of that, and then just got the Gaia GPS app on my iPhone, and you can use it offline if you pre-download the app. And it actually worked out a lot better because this way, if I saw something, I could take a photo of it and then like mark the location on the map. And if I was going for a really long time, I would just bring a solar charger. But between this and the Dark Energy power bank that I got, it would stay on for about a week, maybe more, of using it quite extensively.
The only caveat is you need a cell phone signal, though, right?
No, you don't, because the GPS works completely separate from the cell tower signals.
Really?
So, yeah, so this phone is not actually activated. I just use it, for apps and stuff like that. And I have a regular flip phone for all my calling and texting. So without a SIM card or anything in this phone, I'm able to use the GPS and track everything. And it's awesome.
Well,
you can even use it in airplane mode.
That's pretty cool. And you got a deal on it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I use a Garmin, and this is it's an older one. It's the GPS Map 60 CSX. And I originally bought it because I was into geocaching down here in SoCal. So I would ride my mountain bike and go find hundreds of geocaches and try not to get bit by rattlesnakes, digging through rock piles and stuff. But this is pretty good. It's accurate as hell. I mean, I've mounted it to my bike and even put it in the car. And I know that some people have the Rhino, that's the walkie-talkie. Those are okay, but I don't know anybody down here that has used these that have had problems with them. They've all worked pretty good. And you can also hook an external antenna to this as well. Has a port in the back for that. So if you really want to reach out and get super accurate. So
yeah, we had those. We had those in Texas, and we had the external on the top of our patrol vehicles. And so, bueno, those things are awesome.
How would they get pretty close, accurate down to a couple of meters?
Yeah, pretty darn close. The even in the canyons, if you're just getting the GPS, it's fine.
Yeah.
And in the canyons, like satellite phones would not work, but the GPSs would.
Hey, got a Thanksgiving question from Gruntman619. He wants to know if we're going to deep fry a turkey or are we going to cook it in the oven?
Well, I'm not sure if we're even doing a turkey this year. We might go for a road trip instead of making a dinner this year. So I'll leave that question to you.
1 year we deep fried them. My recommendation is do it on the lawn, because if you do it on concrete, it's going to splatter and it's going to look nasty. So it worked really well. It also works good for deep frying chickens as well. So if you got a lot of company coming over, get a couple of whole bodies, and just make sure that you get as much moisture off them as possible and drop them in slow. You don't want a missile coming out of there and messing everything up. But I like doing that. Past couple of years, we've been doing them in the oven again, just due to time constraints, because I haven't had a Thanksgiving day off in 22 years I work. So if I had it off, I would definitely deep fry it, but other folks are cooking it, so they do it in the oven. So,
and you got to make sure they're not frozen when you put them in the fryer too, because doesn't that make them explode?
You are correct.
there's always a PSA from some fire department somewhere where they're showing it, and it's like right next to a house that they're about to demolish, and the whole place goes on fire. It's amazing. That's got to be the best part about being a fireman.
LT says he uses a Garmin E-Trax. I started out with a Garmin E-Trax. It worked pretty good, but I would find that when I got in canyons, like Andy said, or if I got under heavy tree cover trying to find those geocaches, it would just start bouncing all over the place. So with this one, with the external antenna, it kind of mitigates that a little bit, where it's a little more accurate. So but if you're in a wide open space, the E-Trax is fine. Let's see. Jonathan says he does 24-hour brine and oven. He goes, and this year they're going to be road tripping.
Twinsies.
Hey, if you can road trip and go to somebody's house, that's what it's all about. It's all about family and friends and, spending time together. It's good stuff.
I like eating other people's food. That's my thing.
I like OP beer, other people's beer.
OPB, not OP.
Right. Now we're bouncing all over the place tonight, but you know what? We haven't done a live show in a long time, and we got together and just said, you know what? Let's just do something. Let's just have a fun night and get out here and act a little crazy town, and give folks an update of what's going on. And so we like being able to share with you. For Earth is checked in. He says, "Morning, guys. Greetings from Germany." Thank you.
That's a long ways away.
It is. I always wanted to go to Europe. I want to go to Europe and see the castles over there.
Yeah, because they got history that, they go like this deep, and like the United States, at least, post Columbus, in order to go like this deep, it's pretty shallow.
Yep. No, yeah, definitely. I would love to go over there and explore, like Transylvania, the woods. That would be.
I really want to go to Sweden. Sweden seems cool.
That would be cool. See, if we can get some channel sponsors, we can make this happen.
Just go crash Survival Lily's channel.
Yeah, we'll go show up.
Be super weird. Hey, we don't know you, but we see you on YouTube sometimes.
And we're taking over your bushcraft living space.
Don't mind if I make myself at home, do ya?
We'll do a live show from there.
Exactly.
Come to Quebec City. You're right, Louis. We went to Quebec in 2014. Had a great time. I got stopped by the police for speeding in the province of Quebec, and the law enforcement officer was really nice. He told me off in a really nice way, but he let me go with a warning, so that was good. So, I love that town. You're right. It is like a Europe feel. It's one of the oldest cities in North America.
See, I don't even know what it's like to get pulled over in Canada, dude. They're like, "Oh, sorry, I pulled you over," and then like give you your ticket. Sorry about that. Or is it like in the United States where it's very like strict?
He told me in a heavy French accent that I was playing with fire in the province of Quebec and to slow down.
Seems fair.
And I said, "Thank you, sir." So, yeah. No, beautiful town, beautiful province. People were friendly. And it was only about maybe, I want to say 2 hours from where my mom lives. So it was pretty close. Because most of her family's from that area, New Brunswick and Quebec area. So, little stroll down history, memory lane for John here with you guys. Let's see. Jonathan Zooks, I think he said he's checking out. He says, "See you guys in January." Jonathan, take care. You have a good night, sir.
Peace, brother. Be safe out there.
Yep. I don't know. You guys got any more questions in here before we wrap it up for the evening?
It's almost feeding time for Andy Tran. Calories need to be consumed.
Lewis goes, "Next time we meet in Maine or Quebec." You are right, Lewis. Next summer, my mom's turning 80, and we're going to go to northern Maine. So I will let you know, and maybe we can arrange some sort of meetup. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
Wayne Russell from Coalcraft and Bushcraft too. He's in New Brunswick, and he's going to meet up with us. Somebody's asking me, Survive Without's asking, what's the patch on my hat? There it is, the Danger Ranger. I like to shake things up a little bit. Mike Fuller is asking if we're going to do any bow videos soon.
You'll probably do one more than me because you're definitely into the archery stuff. I only do it out of necessity. I've
got about 3 lined up right now. The only problem is hunting season. So the day after Thanksgiving is my next day off. We're going to go deer hunting for mule deer. We're getting up at dark 30, heading out. I've been shooting in the backyard, trying to stay limber because I shoot traditional, no sights, just straight on. And hopefully we'll get something. But after hunting season, I definitely have a couple archery videos lined up for folks.
Sweet.
I don't know what he's got an emoji of a bear, a teddy bear, and a duck. I don't know what the Gruntman says he wants a Tahoma for Christmas. Andy, you might still have a few in stock, don't you?
I do. I sent out a serrated top edge version today, but I do have some seconds, and I do have one customer return that decided that they didn't want the top edge sharpened. So hit me up on Facebook, and we'll talk.
So we got a guy, I guess he's not a fan of my channel. He goes, "John, you have to bring something to the table to get a channel sponsor. If you don't have any outdoor skills and you're just a wannabe outdoor gear reviewer, it's kind of hard."
It would be kind of hard. Thankfully, you're not a wannabe.
Oh, well. There's always one in a crowd. Thanks for checking in anyway. I appreciate it. Let's see. Well, with that, we probably should wrap it up. We're coming up on the hour.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry.
There you go.
So, yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for chiming in and contributing to the live show. We always like viewing the comments and making you guys a big part of this too.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. We have fun doing this stuff. Next time, hopefully, we'll have a guest that we talked about earlier. And if any news comes up, follow along on the social media, Facebook. And I don't know if Andy does a lot of Instagram, but for me, those are some of the fastest ways to get the word out. So
I'm getting better at social media. I finally figured out what a hashtag is, so we'll be doing more.
LT, send me your address on a instant message, and I'll send you a patch. He's asking for a patch.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, I'll fill out the 2 pages of custom stuff just for you, Lewis. I'll do it. All right, folks. Hey, have a safe and blessed Thanksgiving holiday. Be good to one another out there. And hopefully we'll have another live show maybe before Christmas where we can wear Christmas hats and put Christmas lights up or something and have fun. Take care, folks. Until the next one.
Peace.